All right, so at this point, we've seen the assets that we're going to be using in our cloth demonstration. And in this first actual cloth video where we're going to create something, we're going to create a cloth simulation of our pennant flag that's on the left-hand side here.
Right. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is nuke out these objects. We're not going to use them. We need their meshes, but we don't need them as game objects themselves.
Okay.
So with a flag, probably best to start with a flagpole. So
sounds good to me.
Let's go to game object, create other. Let's create a cylinder. Oh, let's guess. Go about 0.2, maybe about 5 and 0.2. Fairly tall flagpole. Raise it up a little bit. Set it at the world origin. And what if I get right to 5?
Now, is there any consideration that you're making with the thickness of the pole, or is it just whatever looks right?
Just whatever looks right.
Okay.
Based on scale. Now, to just make sure that it's going to look good with our flag, I can jump into meshes, bring our flag in, and then basically run it up the flagpole.
Nice.
So it'll work for our purposes.
I can almost hear that sound effect when you beat a level in Mario Brothers. Anyway.
All right. So that should do for our flagpole. Now, the next thing I want to do is we need some points to anchor our flag.
Okay.
So to do this, in our very first physics intro, I had mentioned that we're actually going to create a couple of game objects that just have colliders, nothing else, just the collider. This is where we're going to do that. We're going to create an empty game object and hit F2 to rename it. I'm going to call this attach point 1, and let's zero out its transforms in X and Z, and position it roughly about the top of the flag.
Okay.
So we'll get it about there.
Now, why that particular position?
Well, I want to attach our flag to our flagpole at the top of the flag and at the base of the flag.
Kind of like how you would if it was actually tied to the flagpole.
Exactly.
Okay.
So now, remember, this is an empty game object. It has no components to it, so it has no collider yet. So we need to add one. So we'll go to Component Physics, and we'll add a box collider. Now, the collider itself, it doesn't really matter which one you use. The way these work is vertices that you want to attach from your cloth have to be inside of the volume of your collider.
Okay. So in a way, it's kind of acting like a trigger.
Sort of, yes.
Because it's using the fact that it's aware of what's inside and what's outside of it.
Mm-hmm. So we can drop its size down to, let's go with 0.25.
Okay.
There we go.
And as long as you have at least a vertex or two in there, I guess you should be okay.
Yep.
Now, this is probably kind of a loaded question because I know in my experience with playing with cloth simulations in 3D applications, you can get away with grabbing just one vertex, though usually it's better to grab a few. You just have to be careful because if you overdo it, it'll seem like that one area of your cloth is kind of frozen in space. Do you run into the same problems here?
With this one, in one of our examples, we're going to rely on that fact. We could actually take our Y, increase our bounding volume, or our collider,
and just grab all
attach
those
it
vertices
all along the edge, but that will make it look like our entire cloth is pinned to that one section.
Right, like it's glued to the flagpole.
Exactly. And we're going to take advantage of that in a future video where we take that sheet and we pin it all the way around the outside to hold it in place.
Gotcha.
Because we don't want it to flex or sag at all.
Right.
So in this case, I'm just setting up 2 points because I do want it to look like it's attached at the top and the bottom with some play in the center section here, just like you would expect from a real flag.
Nice.
So I'll take this one, I'll move it up to the top. I'm going to duplicate this and we'll rename this one to attach point 2, and then I'll just move it down. So now I've got both my attach points, and I'm just putting those into position so I know where they are roughly with the flagpole. And this object will get deleted here shortly when we get ready to create our cloth.
Okay.
What I want to do is take our cylinder and rename this to be flagpole. And I want to parent our two attach points into our flagpole. So this way, when everything's done, we can just take the flagpole and move it around to wherever we want it to be.
Okay.
All right, with everything in position, I can take this this game object and completely nuke it out of the scene.
What?
We don't need it anymore. We just need this mesh.
Okay.
So what we do need, though, is another game object. We'll rename this one flag. And let's zero out its position in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to add our cloth components to it. Now, to do an interactive cloth requires two components. We need the interactive cloth component and we need the cloth renderer component. The nice thing is if we just add the cloth renderer component, it will go, oh, hey, there's no interactive cloth component, so I'm going to throw that in there for you.
Yeah, very nice.
So one click, we get two components, saves us some time. Now, there's a bunch of settings in here, and we're going to cover these in several different stages. I'm not going to cover them all with just the flag. That's why we're going to have a couple of different settings.
That's great.
But what matters here is this mesh component. This is going to tell this component what mesh to use for a cloth. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here, we're going to find our flag. So there's our flag. We're going to select flag, double click it, so now we've got our flag. So if we look, somewhere in here, we have our flag. So now I can take our flag, run up our flagpole.
Just like you did before.
Yep. And if I parent it inside of our flagpole object, I can select and I can see where our points are. And I can see if I got close. And I'm pretty close. A little bit high, so I'll bring it down just a tad.
Gotcha.
So that should center us up on our points. So if I take our cylinder and I disable its mesh render real quick, I can check just to make sure that I have vertices inside of those attach points. That is important.
Nice.
All right. Now I can turn our mesh renderer back on for our flagpole so we can see our flagpole again. Now we have this magenta pink color because we don't have a material assigned. Now in the very first video I showed you that I had created a red material that was using our Spec 2 shader, which is our modified shader that shows two-sided. So I can take this, drag and drop that on, and that gives us a cloth that has two sides to it.
Okay.
Now, if I were to run the simulation right now, and let me split this up so we can show this on both sides. So if I run our simulation,
ooh,
we have a cloth.
Yeah.
And it just kind of crumples and falls to the ground. It's not respecting those attach points.
No, it's not.
Nah, so we need to tell it about those attach points, and we need to get those hooked up. So to do that, we're going to select on our cloth object, or flag, and if you scroll down, we have attached colliders. If we expand this out, it has a size. This is an array. So we need to tell how many elements are we going to use. We have two attached points. So we're going to set it up to a size of 2, and then this gives us our 2 elements. Now, what this is looking for are the colliders that we're going to use. So here's our attach point 1. Here's our attach point 2. Now, we've got a couple of options in here, these checkboxes. Two-way interactive is basically, are these attach points going to receive any of the forces that may be applied to the cloth to those attach points? Basically, if something were to hit the flag, is it going to drag those points with it?
Okay.
So, seeing how that would yield in some pretty weird behavior with our flagpole, we don't want to do that at all. The other thing is this terrible? What that means is if there's an excessive amount of force applied to the flag, can that flag be torn away from our attach points? So you may or may not want to use that. In this case, I don't want to deal with tearing our flag away. So I'm going to leave both of these unchecked for both of our attach points. So now if we go back and we simulate again, now we're respecting and staying attached to our flag.
We are. Still kind of looks a little boring with it just kind of hanging there.
Yeah, and you can see if I get it in here fairly closely, we're staying stuck attached here, we're staying stuck attached here, but we've got some sag in between, which is what we wanted. So now it is kind of boring. It's like, well, what's the point of having a flag if it's just going to drape? So we need to add some acceleration to it. Now we have two types of acceleration that we can deal with. We have an external acceleration and a random acceleration. Now an external acceleration is kind of like a constant force that is applied in a direction.
Okay.
Similar to a very, very steady wind.
Mm-hmm.
So
an impossibly steady wind.
Yeah, it's not going to...
Yeah.
So not really going to happen in the real world.
Right.
So right now, if you look, our flag is running in the z-axis. So what I want to do is primarily have a force going down the z-axis. So to do that, I'm going to type in a value of, let's try 10. Just something to start with.
Mm-hmm. So
now we've got a little bit of force, and it's bouncing the flag up and down. And you can see it's kind of flipping. And actually, I'm just going to move this over. We can do all of our work from here for now.
Okay.
So it's got a little bit of motion to it. But it's kind of interpenetrating ours with itself.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a checkbox called self-collision. Self-collision we can use to help prevent the cloth from interpenetrating itself. Now, again, still kind of boring. Let's bump up the force some. Let's go with, say, about 30.
Ooh, nice.
So now we've got it to stand up a little bit more.
But it looks just kind of springy. It doesn't even look like a wind. It looks like the flag itself is made of rubber or something.
Right. So let's add some random in here. So seeing how most of the majority of the force is along the z-axis, and we've got 30 there, let's add some variation here. Let's try about 10. So now we're going to get some variation.
Okay.
So also add maybe 2 plus or minus on the x-axis.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see, it's still pretty strong, so probably too strong for what we want. So let's try about 20.
Okay.
So now it's bouncing, but it looks kind of like a very thick material still.
Yeah, it does.
So we can adjust that a little bit with our bending stiffness and our stretch stiffness. Now this is going to control how much our material is going to bend, as well as how much it's going to stretch. If I crank this number down, everything stretches.
Yeah.
Again, not very realistic.
Yeah.
But we can, play around with this number and bump it up. So a little bit more motion.
Now, what kind of values are you using there?
I'm using 1. These are values from 0 to 1.
Okay.
So I've dialed both bending stiffness and stretch stiffening to their fullest. What I'm trying to go for.
So we're resisting bending of the cloth, and we're resisting any stretching as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I'm bumping up the Z-force, so we've got a little bit more wind to keep it steady.
Okay.
Now we have a couple more things. We have friction and density. This isn't really going to play so much in this case. This is what happens when it interacts with another collider, how it slides along another surface.
Sure, if you were to drape this over, say, a rolling ball, what would happen?
Exactly. So we're not going to really mess with this. Pressure we'll cover in the next video, the same with some of these other settings that deal with tearing.
Okay.
So the ones that really matter for you in this simulation are going to be bending stiffness, stretching stiffness. Dampening is how much energy's lost from frame to frame. So if we dial this up, we get very little motion. And if we dial this down, we get some more motion. So these numbers all play off of each other to simulate different types of cloth.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, again, a lot of trial and error of going back and forth just to get the look that you're going for.
Well, is there a way you can have it look like it has a little more turbulence to it, like it's actually flapping in a wind?
Yes. To do that, I can do our overall strength and dial this down so it's not standing out so much. And I can take our random and dial this up a little bit more.
Oh, that's a lot better already.
Take our X and dial that a little bit higher so it's got more back and forth.
Nice. That's starting to wave around a lot better.
So again, it's a lot of trial and error. So,
and it should be noted that you're making all these changes while you're playing.
Yes.
So you're about to lose them all, yeah?
Yes. If I stop playing, I will lose these settings.
Okay.
So luckily, I can stop that because I happen to know kind of the settings that I wanted to play with. So use bending stiffness of 1, stretching stiffness of 1, dampening of 0.1. Thickness, I'm going to go with 0.001, make it look like a very thin type of material. I want it to use gravity. I want it to use self-collision. For the Z-axis, I'm going to leave those new settings that we had. I kind of like those, so we're going to go with 20 and 5 for this one, and I believe I had 20 for Z. Friction, we're going to leave. Density, I'm going to leave that alone for now. And the rest of these settings, I'm going to leave. Our attached colliders should still be there. If I hit play, we should have roughly what we had before. I think bending stiffness I had cranked down just to get a little bit more. Try to get it back to where we were. Yeah, about that. Okay, so 30 and 0.25. So let's set this to 0.25 and this one to 30.
Okay.
So
nice.
So we get a little flag. And like I said, this is all trial and error. You just adjust stuff until you're happy with it.
Right, and you just probably sit down with a pen. If you're going to do it interactively like this while in play mode, just make sure you're at least jotting down what values look nice so that you can apply them after you stop.
Yep. Now the nice thing is, with everything attached, as far as parented all in, I can now take my flagpole and I can move it over.
Nice.
Kind of position it right about in the center of this column.
You could vertex snap it to that central part of the A-frame. Boom.
There we go. Now our Parthenon has a flag flying.
Nice.
So that's basically what I wanted to show in this video.
Okay.
In the next video, we're going to work on making a soft body beach ball with that ball mesh that I showed in the first video.
Sounds awesome. So that'll wrap things up for this video. Thanks for watching.